Cashbox Magazine presents an interview with Rick Wheat.
Well, we're pleased to talk tonight with Rick Wheat, all the way over in Arkansas. Rick has quite a past that we're going to talk about, and also something coming up in the future that we really want to get the lowdown on. Rick, welcome to Cashbox Magazine. We're happy to talk to you this evening.
Doug, it's my pleasure to be here. We thank you so much for the call.
Well, I tell you, I've read your bio, and boy, what an extensive biography you have here. You were formerly a rodeo rider, I understand.
That's right. I rodeoed for several years and trained horses on the side and had a good career.
How many bones do you have broken to your credit?
Well, several, but, you learn after a while, don't fall off and you don't break the bone.
Yeah, well, that's the goal, right?
That's the goal.
It's an
Learn
exciting...
fast, don't fall off.
Yeah, it's an exciting sport. It really is. So now you went from riding to, then you moved into producing rodeos. Is that how it went?
Well, pretty much. I worked the rodeo circuit. My cousin was set second in the world in Madison Square Gardens, Ralph Wheat, and he kind of led me down the road to get started, and then I got started on it. And then I worked on several ranches, and I got to repossessing cows, of all things.
Now that is something that you don't make a car payment. I know the tow truck backs up in your driveway or your boat payment, but tell me about repossessing a cow. What exactly does that look like?
Well, it's nothing like what you're thinking of where they back up and hook onto it. Bank of Oklahoma was the largest ag lender in the United States, and as you might well know, some of the smaller banks don't have a loan limit large enough to set up a big ranching operation. So they actually farm out the loans, and that's what Bank of Oklahoma done. And then in several cases, it's went to different investors and different folks that was involved in it, and they would run it for a few years, and for odd reasons, they quit making payments on it. And so then it was my job to go in and find these cows, which a lot of them was in the swamps of Florida, and put them back together and then market them. And it wasn't like taking them from someone that did not want to go through with the situation. That wasn't the case at all. The case was they didn't really want to be hooked with it anymore. And so banks have a horrible record in court over things like this, and so they figured out a better way to do it. And what they did, they'd go in and take possession of the cows on paper, and then myself and others would do it in other parts of the world, would go in and find the cows, put the cows back together, in other words, worm them, take care of them, fix them all up, and then remarket them. And some of the times it would be to another investor. Yes, sir.
Isn't that something? That's interesting. Isn't it? I tell you, every business has its own nuances, which make it unique, and that definitely is unique when you think about repossessing a cow. It struck me, but I imagine it's pretty commonplace in your neck of the woods where it goes on all the time.
That's
now,
right.
you also managed a 10,000 head of cattle ranch. Tell me about that.
That's right. There's a company called Brentwood Farms out of Brentwood, Tennessee, and it was for the country music singers. And it was basically for the tax advantage that was involved in the cows at that time. And several of the stars had cows, and they bought a certain amount of cows, whatever they wanted to buy. And Brentwood Farms would actually finance the cows, and then we'd run the cows for 5 years for them. And so I got involved in that. And at the same time, I was doing repossession things, and then I was also doing rodeo things, and just anything to make a living.
Well, that's interesting. I tell you, that's what's great about this country. There's all kinds of ways to make a living, isn't there?
That's right, and sometimes you don't want to make your job. You depend on someone else to make it, and I don't think that's the way to go. You got to make your own. I
agree with you. Now, you also invented a product. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. Doug, I invented a product called a Noble Head Stall in 2001. My wife, Shanna, and I we got together and come up with this thing. And I come up with it in Florida when I was down in Florida.
Okay.
And there was a time that this rodeo situation wasn't all that great, and the repos and the cows was paid when it was done. Mm-hmm. So I kind of got in a tight financial, as a lot of cowboys do, I guess, going up and down the road. And this gentleman down there in Marietta, Florida, he was at a feed store down there, and he told me, he said, I got a horse out there in the trailer that I'd like to see you ride. And I had won the rodeo the night before. And he said, shoot, you should be able to ride anything. Well, I kind of thought I could. And he unloads this big old tall, lanky horse out of the trailer, and it's in the parking lot. Of course, there's no rocks in Florida. And he said, if you can ride this horse across this parking lot and back, he said, I'll give you $100. And that looked as big as Texas to me at that time. So I get on it thinking everything's well, and this thing lays me flat on my back right there in front of all these people, you know.
Oh.
And so I finally convinced him to take me home with him, and I'd ride this horse. And anyhow, after so long a time, I took a piece of chain and I had one of the guys that was working for him weld it together, and then I wrapped it in what we call vet tape now, and put it on this horse, and it done nothing in their mouth. And this horse bucked me off, but when he bucked me off, he stopped and looked at me, and that's something different for him. And I got back on him, and I could ride this rascal anywhere I wanted to. It worked. And then it took several years to recreate what I had come up with this piece of chain, which I still have the chain. But I recreated it in a lot better fashion, and it's won all the Humane Society awards that it can win. It's actually been in Washington, D.C. with it, and it was voted the most humane product. It's also voted number 24 of all-time inventions with the American Farriers Association. And so it's really been good to me. Good Lord has provided for me, and it's really been good to me.
Well, good for you. Well, that's that's interesting, and that just comes with sheer experience and solving the problem, I guess. You know, that horse threw you, and you said, well, I'm going to get you. And so you figured out a way to win the battle, and lo and behold, it became a moneymaker for you. So that's fantastic.
Well, that's it, you know, and we've actually took the thing, and we've traveled all over the United States and Canada. I've been to Germany, Italy, and France, and it's done quite well. I made Cowboy of the Year in 2006, and I really contributed all that to the Noble Head Stall. And then, gosh, we got the Face of the American Cowboy the same year. And I got to go to the John Wayne Celebrity Rodeo in Abilene, Texas.
Wow.
And that was quite an event. Most all of the old movie stars that you see on the old Westerns is there. John Wayne's sons were there, and several. And I got to do a clinic there. I was voted into that to do a clinic. And it was rather intimidating to look out and see Rex Allen Jr. and John Wayne's sons and all this stuff, and watching me try to ride this horse. But it was really quite an experience, and I found out that they're some of the nicest people you ever want to meet. They really are.
What an honor for you, huh? That's great.
It really was. I was really, really quite taken by it.
Now, talk to me a little bit about 2012. That was not a wonderful year for you, I suppose. So tell us what's going on there and how things are going.
What happened on this time, I was actually out on the road to come back in, and along in the middle of the night, I kind of got feeling really bad, and ended up taking my son take me to the hospital, which, long story short, I had a stroke, pretty massive stroke. They had sent me back home, and then I had the stroke. They had to send me back home. But anyhow, this really took a lot out of me, and I spent about a year and a half rolling around on the ground. I was bound and determined that I was going to walk again, and so I did. Thank the Lord that I could. But I was able to walk again, and over the period of time, I found out the best thing that I could do would be to ride a horse. So that's what I always done. And I couldn't do it really with the way I used to do it, so we had to build all new things and give us quite an idea. I tried to take therapy at different places, and it didn't work. I couldn't tell any difference whatsoever. But when I finally got on a horse, I found out that this really helped me. It really did. And my wife has established running her Heart W Therapeutic Riding Center. And it really does work, and it really helped me. And we've actually went through a lot of folks now. We've got one guy that's actually got brain damage. He's got a pump inside his head that pumps the fluid off his brain constantly. And he's riding. And then we do some paralyzed veterans. We've got some of those. And got one little 5-year-old girl got run over by a truck. And it's absolutely amazing, Doug, the people that actually just come out of the woodworks. No matter how bad you think you are, you find there's people 10 times worse than you are.
Isn't that the truth? Wow.
And so you have to be able to help those folks.
So you've created, is this a foundation or is this a nonprofit organization, or how are you organized?
It's a nonprofit organization. It's actually through Artex Animal Welfare, which is something that I worked with back when I was really going, on the road a lot. And that's basically the Humane Society, but it's Artex, it's Arkansas, Texas together formed association. And they give me a lot of awards for what we did, and they used my product on some horses that they'd seized, and they found out that it really worked. And so we got to be close friends with a lady named Dixie Wilson, who's the president of it. And then my wife become a certified rehabilitative rider and an instructor at advanced level. And so it has really worked well for me, and it's also worked well for a lot of other people. It really has.
Well, that is amazing, and quite a legacy you have. And certainly the fact that you're continuing to carry that torch right around, your whole experience and your background is just incredible that you're able to do that. I mean, what a perfect fit for someone that's got your past as a rodeo rider, a rodeo producer, a rancher, and a flat-out cowboy to be able to provide therapy to folks that need it through horseback riding. I just think that is fantastic and quite a testament to what you all are trying to do. Now, who runs the foundation? Is it you and your wife?
It's me and my wife, but Shanna's the one that actually runs it. That's my wife. She has a degree in social work.
Okay.
And let's say she's a rehabilitative riding instructor, and she's went several years to college to actually do this. She had started a long time before this all happened to me, and then we got the direction after this because we found out that there was such a need. And there's such a need, Doug. I mean, it would really warm your heart if you could be here and watch the Wounded Warrior guy that we're doing Monday. He's paralyzed from the waist down, and actually the chest down. And he is riding. He is riding. And he had absolutely, I felt like that he was down to the point that he's probably on his last legs. He just kind of given up. He gets on that horse and rides. It's like a light goes out. And, I mean, he absolutely loves it. And Shanna works with him and shows him the way, and we've got a saddle that actually is able to, we can set it and put him in it, and he really does well.
So how are you funded, and how can folks reach out to help you? I presume you could always use help.
Oh, yeah, we really can. We don't charge anyone anything. We operate completely off of donations. And the thing of it is, Doug, what we do is we offer a service for people. And they can come here with no cost whatsoever, none. And they come in and we can show them, maybe a good time, maybe some time that they could actually come in and say, well, I'm back to riding again. And, if you really look at what horses do, the horse's gait most resembles our gait when we walk. And so, like the paralyzed veterans, for instance, whenever they walk on a horse, you can actually feel their legs, because I walked beside some of them, and you can actually feel their legs move. They don't know they're moving, but they're moving. And so what this does, this gives them the feel of actually walking. And it's amazing how much they actually do. In fact, one veteran, he's a Marine, great guy. He rode twice, and then he actually sent me a picture of where he was actually standing up. He was holding on to something, but he actually stood up. And he's unusually strong in his arms. But, this is something that just he hadn't done. And we take this for granted every day, Doug, that, you know, we walk and we stand up and we can do things. And these guys has given their all, and I feel like we should give some back.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, for folks to find you, you're at W. Hart W. Therapeutic Riding Stables. Is that your website, or how can folks reach out to you?
That's it, W. Hart W. Rehabilitative Riding Center, and it's on the Internet. I'm not really a computer guy, as you might know. We spoke with our good friend Roger Wood.
Right.
And he, out of the goodness of his heart, has actually come in and helped us with the website and all this stuff. And he's done great things. He's hooked us up with you, you know. And so this is a great thing for us. And like I say, we do operate strictly off of donations, and we've had some. And it really does help out. But no one has been turned away, no matter how bad or whatever. If there's a way to get them on, we get them on. We have a ramp that a wheelchair can go up. We've also got a horse-drawn wagon, and it's wheelchair accessible, and that's a lot of fun for guys. You know, it's not so, you know, much on the rehabilitation, but it's a lot of fun. But we want to get them on a horse. We want to get them up a straddle of a horse and keep them up there for a period of time, and it's just amazing things that you'll see folks do. It really is.
Well, I think that's fantastic, Rick. If anybody wants to reach out to or just learn more about what's going on here, the website is www.whartw.com. It's the letter W, the word heartw.com, and there's a wealth of information there. And these folks could use your help, so reach out if you can help them out, because they're doing good things. Rick, it's been a pleasure learning more about you and your organization, and certainly your past, and we thank you for everything you're doing. I think it's fantastic, and you let us know at Cashbox Magazine if there's ever anything we can do in the future to help you, and we'd be happy to do that.
Thank you so much, Doug. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we'd like to invite anyone and everyone that wants to come out and watch or just come out and be a part of it or anything. No cost to no one. Come on out. We'd love to have you.
Thank you, Rick, and you have a great evening.
Thank you, Doug.